nervous to serve the king?
Well, you see, that's the thing, yeah, not really, because, like, I was young at the time. I was only, like, 17.
I don't really care about them, but I don't like the fact that we're paying for them when, like, everyone's, like, economically strapped. I feel like if they paid for themselves,
do you
it
not think
wasn't
they do?
coming out of taxpayers. Like, no, they don't.
Why?
We've got pensioners who can't afford their own fuel.
I get that.
Like, we shouldn't be able to
do you know the
exist.
thing? Generally, it's the pensioners that actually are the biggest supporters of the monarchy.
Doesn't necessarily mean that they know what's good for them.
But not everything's about money. Like, sometimes tradition is quite nice.
I think tradition is nice.
Like, we
but
can't just
also,
go,
like,
nah. So what will we do? Will we do in America and get a president then, do you think?
Well, we've already got a prime minister.
No, don't get me started on him.
Well, yeah, but not a very good one.
I know, not a very good one, but King Charles can't politically influence that anyway.
No, I know, but it's nice to have a kind of constant there when you've got, like, governments in chaos. It's when we had about 1 million prime ministers in about a matter of months. It's nice to have something above
But
it
I
that just
also
sits
just
steady.
think, like, I'm not even against having a king or a queen or whatever, but I am against it when it's like, literally, we can be using that money to feed children who are actually starving.
I see both sides. I think it's a lot of shit, but I also think it's really important.
I think it's important, and I think it's part of being... Like, I'm proud to be British, and I think we all should be.
I think we're more capitalist than we are communist.
What do you mean by we're more capitalist? Capitalist?
I would describe... I think we probably
Capitalist.
have very different descriptions. I would describe it as capitalism encourages people to work hard and you get what you deserve if you work hard.
But that's not true, though.
So what do you want to do? Like, put a cap on, like...
It's
like
not
no, you
about
can't earn,
that.
you
It's
can't
about,
earn
like,
any more than
installing
that.
ethics into people and going, like, if you're not going to spend it in this lifetime, maybe don't have it. Like, people die of starvation.
But I think there are
every
people
day.
that are morally trying to help us and understand that they want to pour into others, so they get their wealth and then give back in.
And by gluing ourselves to roads, etc., is that the way to go about it?
People are desperate. No one wakes up in the morning going, I'm going to go and sit in a diaper in the middle of the M25 just for bands. Like, this is an act of desperation to get people to listen,
Generally,
to wake... Like,
investors are very reasonably middle-class people. It's champagne socialism, isn't it? It is.
well, yeah, when you see someone having to cut their house in half because their house is going to fall in the sea, you can call it champagne socialism. You haven't seen the hurt that climate change is already causing in this country. I can't believe I'm getting done for this because I said I wouldn't vote for a Tory.
You one there.
Yeah.
This is giving, like, dungeon vibes.
I know this is.
Yeah.
This is so annoying.
Like, the good thing is you're not disrupting any traffic at least this time, so it's all right. It's a safe protest.
Oh, don't worry, next time you're on the chopping block.
Oh, yeah.
A little panto Tory.
I don't think you need to justify it. Like, that's why I'm kind of because I'm like, I don't think he needs to justify
No, but babe, I'm so sorry, but, like, I'm just saying, for me, I also get how Martha's feeling, and it doesn't feel fair.
So does everyone.
But there you go. So why is
So
it like...
what's your point then?
My point is what I just said, Nathan.
Okay.
Can you stop being disrespectful, please?
I'm not. I'm just. I think you're putting them through it again, which I think is unnecessary.
I'm not putting them through anything. For fuck's sake, I can barely get a word in half the time. Okay. I just want to talk because I know, I'm a straight shooter. And I get...
As am I.
Exactly.
We both are, which is fine.
I feel like you never give me the chance to fully articulate my words before you're ready to what feels like you come towards me. Like, I was saying the exact thing as Ali.
I thought you had spoken at length for quite a bit of time before I jumped in, and I felt what I was hearing and what I was seeing was unfair for a guy that was standing there and had made a decision that no matter who he had picked, someone would have disagreed
100%.
with, someone would have been upset. And I thought, to what I perceived as nitpicking on his word choice, I thought was wholly unfair.
Ali did also step into that conversation as well.
That's right.
And ended up having that conversation. I was never accusing him of being, like, false or not saying what he meant.
I know you weren't
So it was like
that.
we were offering slightly different points that also came down to, like, all I did was want him to be like, look, babe, just have a bit of consideration for her feelings and saying it's fair.
What should he have said?
Okay, you're not hearing what I'm saying again.
I am.
I'm not saying that he should take back what he said in speech. He had a choice to make. It was difficult.
That's right.
He had to make a choice.
My point exactly.
Exactly. But what I was just trying to say is that he shouldn't continue saying it's the fairest choice, because that might feel invalidating to Martha's feelings.
I'm actually a bit shocked, if I'm honest.
It's not a bit shocked, Nathan. You haven't even followed on this conversation because you're so ready to, like, tell me what I've just said.
No.
But, like, you haven't even listened to me.
I have listened, but I'm just a bit shocked because I'm surprised for you to say that you felt like I've not listened to you in the house. I feel like that's the exact opposite to what I've done with everyone in the house.
I'm not saying it's a persistent thing, but that what felt like quite a vicious attack.
It wasn't a
for
vicious
me.
attack.
No, but
That's very strong
what
language.
has felt to me, and this is what I'm trying to say about the feelings, you might have not meant it as an attack.
A vicious attack is a
but
very
you might
strong...
have not meant... Are you going to let me finish? I'm saying you might have not meant it like that, but that's how I perceived it.
I apologise that you felt that way, but I have never intentionally cut you off or disagreed with you just because at any point in this house. I'm not even annoyed. I'm just quite, miffed.
Let's move on from the tasks and talk about Nathan.
Yes.
Because you and Nathan had a really interesting relationship, because at times you two were absolutely going for each other, but then at other times you genuinely seemed like really good mates. So what was the deal? Did you just enjoy sparring with him, or like, are you gonna hang out after this?
100%. I keep telling Nathan, like, you're gonna meet all my activist friends, and now I can say I have a Tory for a friend. It's very weird.
Panto Tory.
Yeah, Panto Tory, yeah, that was
Panto Tory. Yeah, and that's the thing, like, I really love Nathan. I think he's so genuine, and like, even though he shows off to have a hard exterior, he is so soft and so empathetic, and I think our values very much align. But, you know, our values align, but also the solutions that we think meet those values, that's what doesn't align. So when we're having conversation, it's quite good, because he knows he's thinking of my argument and going, how can I beat her? And I know I'm doing the exact same to him.
Yeah,
So if
you are sparring there.
Exactly, it's making it better for both of us to actually think, like, are these our political situations and opinions, or are we just kind of like, you know, brainwashed? Can we debate it out?
Daze, I smell a podcast.
Yeah.
I smell a podcast, honestly.